Pick the Nintendo Shack and pray. Frederick from Fire Emblem Awakening says, yo.
Greetings, Koopalings! Welcome to this week's episode of the Nintendo Shack podcast, the Steam Shack, apparently. I'm joined here, like I am each and every week, by Garret, Dr. Bland. How are you doing, Garret?
Hello, I have seen the light, Rebecca.
And
we'll talk about it in a second.
We'll talk about it. But even more importantly, we have a special guest joining us here today. Welcome, JoAfterWork. How are you doing, Joe?
I'm good. How's it going? I'm awake, surprisingly.
Oh my
You
gosh.
are awake.
So we just heard that you got off of a 24-hour stream for your birthday. Happy belated birthday.
Thank you.
A 24-hour stream. That is insane. I don't know how you're functioning right now. Props to you. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. No, yeah, this is like I function off a little sleep, so like this is the normal run of the mill for me. I'm just a complete wackadoo is really what it comes down to.
I love the energy. For those who are not familiar with you and what you do on the internet, what you do with gaming, why don't you tell everyone what you want them to know about you?
Yeah, I'm Joe. I'm a retro variety streamer. I love me my Nintendo games in general overall. That's pretty much it in a nutshell. People might know me for random cosplays and being wholesomely chaotic, quote unquote, is probably the best way to describe me in a nutshell.
It really is. I watch your streams. Your cosplays really are the best. Anyone who go follow him on Twitch. We'll put the link in the show notes. You have to check them out. They're great. I'm gonna throw you a question here. Your favorite game on the Nintendo Switch? Let everyone know.
Oh man, number one this year definitely changed it for me. It's definitely all right. So Metroid Dread, it stands its own time. Like that's its own thing for sure. Like I can't
respect.
That's untouched. But Live Alive.
Yay!
Yeah.
Wow.
I love me my JRPGs and that.
Listen, I need you right now. So right now, Garret, last week, he mapped out the rest of the games that he's going to play this year. He mapped out, I'm going to play this, and this, and this, and this. And that game was not in there, even though it is one that he wants to play. So I told him that he needs to replace it with either he's planning to play either Triangle Strategy or Three Hopes. Tell him that he needs to fit Live Alive, however you say it, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
How do I fit in that?
Dude, you have to. Yeah, one's got to go. Like Three Hopes.
Oh man,
the whole. I love me my like. I don't even know
stuff and Koei Tecmo. The action
my
RPG stuff. Yeah.
Crazy wild warriors type stuff. The Muso stuff. But
Musos, yes.
Yeah. But Live Alive is just its own thing. Like I was so happy to see that get a remake because I had planned on playing the fan translation. It's like this game is never gonna get remade. Like I'm in the middle of playing Chrono Cross earlier in the year for the first time, and I'm like a week into like me getting through halfway through disc 1, they have that direct and they announced the remaster for that with Radical Dreamers and Live Alive, and I was like, what world
this was
am I
such a
living
good
in?
year for bringing back old JRPGs,
right? That 2D HD engine is just wild. Like it's beautiful. The stuff that they did with like parts of Final Fantasy VI was just out of this world. Like I love what they're doing with like all these like old Square games. Like it's giving new life to all these older games. And I'm really hoping for Bahamut Lagoon to get one next.
Hey, it's possible. If we're seeing all these other games come back from the dead, anything is possible. Okay, so I completely 100 respect both of those answers, Live Alive and special shout out to Metroid Dread there. So good taste in games. We know that. If you haven't already go followed him, that should, be enough to convince you that he has good taste in games. What have you been playing lately on the Switch or Nintendo or elsewhere?
Yeah, so aside from Pokemon finally getting around to starting that up, Bayonetta 3, I finally sat down, played through the whole thing. I loved it from beginning to end. That game,
Nice.
It's just bizarre how wacky the creativity of Platinum gets with their stuff. And they still managed to build a cohesive story around that and tie it into the first two games really, really well. It's a neat bow tie, love letter to everybody that's played Bayonetta games before.
How does it run on the Switch compared to? Have you played Bayo 1 and 2 on the Switch?
Yeah.
Or okay.
Yeah, so I played Bayo 1 when it originally came out on the 360 PS3 era. But I did play the Switch versions. Those ran fine. There weren't any real resolution dips from what I remember playing those two. This is the one though where the cutscenes for the most part were the moments that I saw a little degrading in resolution for some of the cutscenes with everything that was going on there, but for the most part, that game ran smooth as butter. It was
really
it gets real crazy with some of the stuff, and I'm super impressed that for as much of I think they pushed the hardware as much to the limit as they possibly could. And I know Kamiya was saying yeah, we basically just need a better running Switch at this rate if we're gonna do another one of these things. But they did a really amazing job with it, and it's nothing that's game breaking to the point. It's just little things you'll notice, okay, we're running on the limitations of the hardware for sure. At this point.
Right. Can I ask, so I heard there was, and since you've played 1 and 2, I've heard there was a little bit of controversy about the ending. Not everybody liked the ending of this game. Without spoilers, what were your impressions on the story?
So without spoilers, man.
Maybe light spoilers. You can do light spoilers. I don't care. Maybe if someone really cares, they can meet the next part of this.
No, I will tread very lightly on the story because the gameplay in this is my favorite out of the 3 so far. If one was the first Devil May Cry, this is DMC 5 to me. In terms of how much they've evolved the combat and the leveling system of this game. I felt they could have done a little bit better with at implementing more of the other characters that are in the game. And they were the storytelling, they're very on the nose with the fourth wall breaking, but being cheeky about certain characters. They're so good about it. There's still a lot of hidden stuff. And stuff that I just found out while I was going back, trying to backtrack and try to, because I'm trying to at least traditional 100% completion, get all the collectibles and stuff like that. But then I found out there's without spoiling anything, there's an item that you get that has an unlocking element to it that unlocks a whole other side thing. So it's a side quest within a side quest sort of thing that you can completely miss, and it's just really neat. It really is a true love letter, and the ending makes me want more in the direction that they're going to clearly be taking this game.
So you were a fan of it. I heard that it was very mixed. People were either very into it or very why did they do it this way? So I'm glad that you had a favorable opinion on it.
For sure.
That was the Bayonetta's voice, huh? Did you find a difference in that?
Dude, I'll be honest with you. I had no idea that there was a difference in voice actor until that whole thing came about. And then even then, it still sat with me weird. And I felt part of the story wasn't being told. I was why am I gonna boycott this game? I feel there's something missing here. And then lo and behold, I didn't say anything on Twitter. I just waited for everything to come out because with how soon that game was dropping, it seemed like just information was getting worse and worse every single day.
That was like such a wild week. Like that whole story
Dude.
unfolded within the span
So
of like 6 or 7 days.
I was like, I had this game pre-ordered for a year now. Like, as soon as that pre-order went up for the collector's edition, I was like,
yeah,
here's my money. Let me get this.
Now, a lot of people flipped out and just like
yeah.
decided to not buy this game, and then
Mhm.
we reveal the whole story of what it is, and it's just wow, what do we think about this?
It's unfortunate, but
just play the game, and the game's great.
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed the
Yeah.
game. It sounds like that was maybe a recent highlight for you. And you
That's
said you
my
started
fault, for sure.
Pokemon.
Yes,
Started Pokemon.
yes.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's just been fun, and it's been funny to see like some of the bugs going on, but like again, it's been nothing game breaking for me yet. I know some people have had like even like people I know with this update, like, and I'm sure we'll get into that, but like
We'll talk a little bit about it. Yeah.
I know some people have had some issues even with the update from like last night that are very deep into the game or like close to 100% completing the Pokedex, but they're still playing.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It has that addictive gameplay loop. I did finish it this past week. Garrett, how far did you get?
I got the 4th gym badge. I have a total of 8 badges. So 2 from the trials or whatever, 2 from the hideouts, 4 from the gym badges. I defeated the ghost gym, which is in the ice mountain. So I'm going to go south to get to ice gym and then go east. Like I have a whole path going on. I'm still having a great time with it for sure.
You're still playing it. You're still enjoying it. How far are you in it, Joe?
I legit just did story stuff like this morning for a couple of hours. I spent most of my time, and I don't know what my time is. I spent all of my time since I got that game just exploring and catching Pokemon. And somehow my starter is already almost level 40 just off catching Pokemon in like a few battles. And everyone else is teetering on level 30. So when I decided to do a gym, I just picked any gym, and apparently I picked like based on a map that someone had created the first 2 gyms. And so I kind of one-shot everyone. I was like, oh, I should have done this earlier. So I got the first 2 gym badges and 1 of the Team Star badges. I fought the big car.
Yeah, they all have big cars.
Okay. So the fire, the one with the walking boots.
Oh, the fire one.
The fire one. Yeah. She was cool. That was a cool character.
She was cool.
All the Team Star characters, I think, are very cool. I like them. That story unfolds. That was actually my least favorite story of like the 3 paths, but it was still cool. But you were saying that like you one-shot at everything in the gym. I feel like that was a little bit of a downside of the open world aspect of it.
Yes.
Like Garrett, I don't know if you said you went north and you did like the ghost gym, and now you have this plan to like go around and down and stuff. Like I think you're gonna find that you did some of the harder ones first, and when you go back down to lower in the map, you're gonna be
all the way around now.
Yeah, you're gonna be like one-shotting stuff. Like I almost wish that there was some kind of level scaling, because then like you can go out whichever way you choose, but like you're not gonna if you decide to do the really hard gyms, or you spend a long time training in one hard area, you're not gonna like just completely wipe stuff later in the game.
Right.
I don't know. There's pros and cons to that.
I just faced the ghost gym, and they were on the same level as me, so I was quite happy about that. I was like, cool, that works. Actually just a challenge for me. And then I guess I'm on the path, but I'm curious when I go, because I'm going from east all the way around. I'm making a huge loop, so I'm curious how it's gonna be on the west side of that of the beginning point. But I have my what's his name, Pamo or something?
Yeah.
Electric fighting Pokemon. So you evolve him by putting him into the Pokemon Go style, where you like release Pokemon and you have to make them walk 1,000 steps.
And so you did that? You walked him and evolved him?
Yes, I evolved him. He is a beast. Let me tell you, his speed and attack based at are insane. He goes first every time, and he destroys every time. He has close combat. He has spark on him. And he has this ability or this move called Revival Blessing. It's basically a revive. I don't know if it's for one Pokemon or your whole party, but it's just a revive, basically. So
I think I heard about that. I think it does revive one fainted party member.
Yeah, so it's just basically revive then. I don't know.
That's pretty cool. I go into your the like level scaling point. It's funny that they didn't do like the heart gold soul silver route where like they fixed that whole thing of like when you beat the initial Johto thing and go back to Kanto, everyone's actually level scaled instead of like fighting a level 12 Onyx.
It was so weird.
Yeah, that would have been good. I don't know. I think, and they were maybe still experimenting with it. I know they did the experimenting with the wild area and sort.
We're still good. I don't know what happened there. Yeah.
Yay. I know that they did the experimenting with the wild area and sword and shield, and so it's like they're taking little baby steps here. So I can see them sticking with this open world model and maybe building on it and improving on it. Without any spoilers, I will say that I was enjoying the whole game, and then when I got to the very end segment, that end sequence, holy crap, that was the best ending to any Pokemon game I have ever played. I don't know if you guys have heard anything, but play it to the end. It's
okay.
Wow, like it's took like things up a notch. Like I was not expecting it. Very pleasantly
like
surprised with the ending.
Story-wise,
story-wise, yeah.
Cool.
Very cool ending sequence. Just very unlike anything they've ever done with it. So I think you guys will enjoy it too. Looking forward to hearing your thoughts when you do beat it. Keep going with it, Garret. Keep going with it. I know you will, Joe, but keep going with it,
Garret. We'll see.
But Garret, what else have you been up to this week besides Pokemon?
Oh my goodness. So yes, it's been a long time coming. I know Joe, I was jealous of him because he had one when I head over to New York in July. Basically, for Christmas, me and Fiona exchanged bigger gifts. So I gave her a necklace, and then I asked for the one thing I wanted. And that is the Steam Deck. Yeah.
Yay. You have joined the Steam Deck fan club. Tell us about it.
Let's go.
So for people who don't know what this is, it is a handheld device made by Valve, who is the creator of Steam, the biggest PC platform distributor for games. And basically this is a portable PC that plays your Steam games. That's what it is. Like you turn it on, you'll instantly sign in to Steam and you basically install whatever games you want and you can go ahead and play them. This thing, I went through the specs before in this show. You guys know it is.
Yep.
It packs a punch. It does a really good job of playing most, if not all, of your games. Like you can even play most AAA games that are currently coming out this year. People are constantly showing off videos. It's like, hey, here's the performance on Callisto Protocol, which just came out today. So people are actually playing a lot of games in here. I have a lot of thoughts on it, but I won't go too extensively today. I just want to tell you my first impressions. It works, and it works all the time, and it's so cool. You just install a game, and they have these rankings for each of these games. It could be deck verified, which is like they went through the curation process. It can play on the Steam Deck. There's deck playable, which there's some features that may be missing, but overall it's really playable. And then there's unverified, which is, it doesn't mean it doesn't work. It just means it hasn't gone through the curation process.
They haven't tested it thoroughly. Yeah,
exactly. Every game, no matter what, felt perfectly fine. Like I did not have any issue. If you're a PC gamer, you can mess with the settings. You can mess with the frame rates. You can mess with, it does a really good job of like feedback to you with like, do you want to lock it at 60 frames? Do you want to lock it at 40 frames? To conserve some battery? You want to put it at a lower quality? Some games recognize it as a Steam Deck and they have a customized profile, a customized controller or whatever. But yeah, overall, I really enjoy this thing. So it has two different modes. It has the game mode, which is like when you boot it up, it's like the Steam OS. So it's like big picture mode. It's very clean, very nice, very slim. It's just your Steam games. You install it. There you go. Then it has a desktop mode, and that is a Linux-based system. So you're just looking at a computer at desktop mode. So you can go to the internet. You can go onto the Linux store and applications, download what you need. That's where you can venture off to the beaten path, like off beaten path here. You can get into some crazy stuff. So today I've tried out linking my Epic games, games from the Epic Game Store, and then importing it to your Steam app so you can play it through game mode. So you can just go back to your other one and just play it.
It worked? Oh,
you got lucky.
Wow.
It took a little fiddling. Yes. I wouldn't say this is for a novice person. Like if you're not into PC, do not get this.
There's a lot of tutorials too, like surprisingly detailed ones to follow.
Yeah, for sure. There's a lot, but I still get issues, and then I have to go through the threads, and sometimes everyone just has so many odd issues when you really go off.
That was me
the
with
beaten path.
Epic.
Yes, it can get frustrating. So if you have a Steam library and like you're into the handheld stuff, I would say for $400 for the base model, that's pretty good. To just get into it. And if you're in the PC ecosystem, if you're not in there, I would just
cheaper than any PC you can get, really, like to play to play your games, your Steam games.
Yeah, and you can hook up a micro SD card in there, and it loads pretty fast compared to your internal memory. So it's actually a negligible difference.
JC Zero Edge wants to know how heavy it is, maybe compared to the Switch or something similar.
Yeah, it is heavy. I'll give it that. But once I haven't gone to the ergonomics of it yet. So once you hold it though, you're holding it, you're like clamping it like from behind. And so it's like really good, like equally weighted distributed, like with your hands. And yeah, I think it feels fine. I think when I hold it though, like if I'm just normally playing, the weight actually is more like against your wrist more than the Switch, I would say. Mm-hmm. Like the positioning of it, I have to move a little bit so I don't get tired of it. Whereas the Switch is pretty light. You can kind of move your hands around just because it's a Joy-Con. It's so small, like you can adjust and then it'll be fine. But I'm still getting used to it. But I have to position myself sometimes differently and awkwardly in order to be comfortable playing the Steam Deck for longer periods of time. The sticks are amazing, by the way. The analog sticks are just spectacular. I'm playing Tiny Tina's Wonderlands with this thing. Mm-hmm. Plays totally fine. It's a AAA game that came out earlier this year, and I'm just going into it and just having a good time on the Steam Deck.
That's great.
With these. It's a first-person shooter, and so very action-heavy, feels good. I like the triggers where they are. I don't like the bumper buttons where they are. They're a little too high. You have to like kind of slit up, and it takes a little bit of effort. The face buttons are small, and they're kind of like falling off the freaking Steam Deck. It's so weird. They're so small.
Your thumb, I feel like if you go, I don't know if it's A, but wherever the A button would be for Nintendo, like looks like your thumb would slide off.
Yeah. But it's actually been okay. The D-pad's just fine. I would not play this for like a 2D platformer type game with this D-pad. It's a little mushy. Maybe getting some used to, but some of the gripes I have, I don't like these trackpads too much. I don't use them much at all. So that if you see it, Rebecca, there's two squares here. You see them?
Yeah. Is there a touchscreen?
This is touchscreen as well. Yes. But basically these are kind of like your mouse cursor. You like kind of move, and it's like a motion sensor. It's like a, DualSense trackpad of some kind.
Okay.
It's kind of like the same technology as they did with their Steam controller. But yeah, I got a 1 terabyte micro SD in here. It's a 500 gigabyte base. It's good. It's golden.
Josephan, let's spin this back around to Nintendo, because Donnie writes in and he says, Mr. Bland, it's Dr. Bland, Donnie.
Yes.
I already know you love your Steam Deck, so here's my question for you. Now that you have it, do you think the Steam Deck will change your expectations for the Switch successor? Does Nintendo have to come correct to get your attention, or are you all in on the 2 handheld life?
Yeah, I think I know, first party Nintendo games are pushing the hardware with the Switch. This is what I come in agreement to after I got this Steam Deck. I don't want to play third-party non-exclusive games on my Switch anymore. It's all going to be on Steam. I'll just play them on my Steam Deck. I think it'll play best there. I'll play it there. For first-party games, I'll still play the Switch, of course. And then, for the next iteration, what I would just really like is just, I think they will do this. They'll have better performance for the first-party games. Like, I have no doubt it'll be just fine for those. I think the ergonomics needs to be better with the Switch because it's just so flat and so crampy. And like, I hold this and I'm like, oh, this feels nice because I'm just holding it. I'm clamping it. It feels great. It's comfortable. I love the sticks. But with the Switch, it feels weird to me. I do like the screen on the Switch, of course. It's an OLED. So they got to continue that. It doesn't really change my expectations that much, though, because Nintendo will do what they do. They're not going to care much about specs per se for the next iteration. They just want price per performance. Like, is it enough for them to make a profit? Is it enough for them to just carry on for the next 4 or 5 years or whatever for their first party games? Of course, their priority is their first party games. And that's what I'm here for Switch as well. The only really major gripes I have with game performance in a first party sense is Pokemon, which is really not the Switch's fault that much. Age of Calamity was a big one too. But other than that, I didn't have too much major gripes with first party games.
I think Bayonetta 3, as Joe was just talking about, kind of proves that it's, sure, it's pushing the hardware, but you can do a lot with it that some games aren't doing.
Yeah.
Sure. If anyone has played Disaster Report 4 on the Nintendo Switch, that version
is it
specifically?
Bad? Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I think I've seen you play this one on stream, actually. I'm like, what is happening?
That was one of the first ones. I was like, oh, this is not optimized for like the Unreal Engine 4. It was just, it's been very poor optimization for the Switch, specifically for games that run off that engine, and it shows very
Yikes. Much. Yeah. Okay. I think definitely nothing is obviously going to replace the first party Switch life. You're obviously not going to be able to get that anywhere else. But I don't know why you would play third-party games on the Switch when you have a Steam Deck now. I feel like it only makes sense to play them there.
Unless if it's well optimized on Switch and it really pops on the OLED screen, that's like the only thing I can think of. But I really don't have a game that's like, I need to play it on OLED. Actually, I'm not like, I even have a Vita OLED. I'm not too impressed with handheld OLED screens. I'm more impressed with OLED monitors and OLED TVs because they're super big and bright and they just go at you. It's nice to have an OLED model, but I'm not too impressed compared to like how this screen does get bright on the Switch. So
and I think there's some value to having the games in your Steam library too. Steam has a very good, it's a very good ecosystem. They have good return policies. They have, things that Nintendo just doesn't have in that respect.
I think I'm the odd person out on that one. I for me, it's like a case by case with some of them, like my Resident Evil games. I'm like a big Resident Evil head, and on the Steam Deck, I was like, this is my way to go. But then if it's like a JRPG and it's coming out like there's like a collector's edition, I'm more inclined to get it on the Switch because I don't want to be lugging around my giant Steam Deck and whatnot. So
that's fair.
Like, there's still games that like I find myself prioritizing the Switch over Steam Deck, even though I know it's gonna run better on a Steam Deck. Dealfield Chronicle, there we go. That was the one that I'm like thinking of.
Yeah.
That one Yeah, it's not the greatest on the Switch for sure. It runs just like enough.
It runs fine. I played the demo on it. It's okay,
Yeah, but like you can kind of tell that like there's like that 560p going on over there at points.
Yeah, it's getting
like
rough.
a hub area, and I'm like, hey, I'm fine with it, but I know this isn't gonna be the way to play it for everybody. I'm the odd person out.
No, I think that makes sense. That definitely makes sense. And XBS in chat brings up a good point. He says he loves to see the miracle ports, even if they aren't technically as solid as other versions, like The Witcher 3. It is cool to see. It's cool to see how they can optimize the game and how they can get it to run on what's essentially this little tiny dinky tablet. Yeah. I'm glad that you got the Steam Deck. I'm sure that I will probably get one someday, not this version, but whatever their next revision down the road is.
This is a Vita 2.0, guys. It plays all your PlayStation games that you want. That comes out on Steam. God of War, Horizon Zero Dawn. I've been playing Sackboy on Steam Deck, actually. It works quite well.
That's a good game to play on Steam Deck.
Yeah. And it fixes all the settings for you. It's
cool.
It's really wonderful. So
I love it.
The next thing, emulation. Rebecca.
Yes, that's what's gonna get me. Do crimes, everybody. Do crimes. All right, let's jump into this week in Nintendo. The patch for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet sort of came out. It was updated to version 1.1.0. And interestingly, Nintendo apologized for the issues that the game is having. They don't normally say this so explicitly. So before we get into that apology, the update begins Season 1 of Ranked Battles. You can now participate in those. It fixes this issue that causes the music to glitch during Elite Four battles. This did happen to me. Apparently, this happens to almost everybody, where you start to fight the members of the Elite Four, and the battle theme that plays, it was just repeating like the first bar of the music like over and over. It was just like glitching. Like it sounded really glitched. Like it sounded like it was like just the beginning of the song, like a record looping, like a record scratching kind of thing. So somebody told me that if you save and close out and go back in, it fixes it. And I did do that, and it did fix it. But now apparently they fixed that, so now it just plays normally. But I did get that to happen in my game. And just other general bug fixes. So they said in this, update notes, they said, we are aware that players may encounter issues that affect the game's performance. Our goal is to always give players a positive experience with our games, and we apologize for the inconvenience. We take the feedback from players very seriously and are working on improvements to the game.
Wow.
They don't often say stuff like this.
In Nintendo of America's Twitter.
They said it on Twitter and on their website, like in the patch notes.
That's crazy. I don't think they've ever said this in a first-party game on Switch, at least. I don't recall this at all. Wow.
I don't recall it either.
Man,
what do you think, Joe?
It might have been too early for social media to really be kicking off, but it kind of reminds me of like Metroid Prime 3 corruption, when there was that like save file corruption that people had to like bring in their Wiis or something like that. They had to like mail something out. I think it might have been just their SD card, and Nintendo would have like fixed the file that got corrupted and like gave you a new save and send it back. Something along those lines or something like that. I remember it being like a thing. Not everyone had it, but it was an issue for some people that played corruption on the Wii.
Crazy
when that came out, because that was still before the time where like they were patching games. Didn't
that happen to Skyward Sword on the Wii, where they put into the eShop it was before downloads, they put a patch into the eShop that you had to download.
Yes, it's funny. I have that on there just for giggles. I was like, the shop's closing. This was a few years ago. Let's might as well see what's on there.
Yeah. It is unusual for them to say stuff so explicitly like that. Now, notice they don't say we're going to fix these issues.
Exactly.
We say,
yes.
The wording is very clear. We're aware. Our goal is to give a positive experience. We're sorry it happened. We take the players seriously.
We take the feedback serious. Oh my gosh, that is just the most lawyer speak text. I'm sure like 5 lawyers went through that tweet. It's like, no, you don't have to fix a lot of things. There's no litigation in here. You can throw this in. Oh my gosh, it's crazy.
So. It's very Nintendo for that to be the kind of response that they give. Like they won't completely admit it, which like as a big company, they're not gonna admit full fault on it, but like at least give some slight hope, even if it's false hope of like, hey, we're working on it, we know. And it's like that game.
I'm so surprised that they mentioned anything about this. Actually, I'm very surprised. I would think they would just forget it, and it's like it doesn't matter. Look at all the money that we're making. We're not going to say anything about it.
I feel like in this instance, it was so large and so obvious. It's not like it was a small pool of people, or it's not like it was just the frame rate being bad. Like I think there was a lot, very widespread people talking about the performance, and despite them selling 10 million copies in the first weekend, it does affect their reputation a little bit. And so I think they need to put that out. I still do think, despite this very careful wording, that they will keep working on some of these larger bugs. That Elite Four music was pretty bad. That's something that they obviously had to fix. They already fixed an issue in the online battles. There was some RNG thing that wasn't right, and they already fixed that. So I think they're going to fix some major stuff. Like we talked about last week, they're not really going to fix, the big stuff. Jenfruit wrote in and he said, Nintendo's pretty good about performance crashing, etc., but the latest Pokemon games clearly broke that mold. What do you think contributed to the performance issues in this latest entry? Initially targeting a Switch successor, pandemic pain, something else? I know we talked a little bit about it last week, Garret, but maybe we can throw in Joe's opinions and what we think.
I heard some of what the both of you were talking about last weekend, actually, and it was like pretty much what I was gonna regurgitate anyway. Was pandemic for sure. This would have been the team working on Sword and Shield, I think. So whatever time from when that released to now, plus everybody working from home for at least a minimum 2.5 years at that, if they're even back in the offices still, who knows? It's interesting to kind of see like this be the first kind of game that's like showing the impact of how games are coming out of that era. And they had to drop it at some point because they have anime, they have merchandise lines, they have all these new Pokemon that they're going to be advertising at the end of the day. And like as from like a business front, they're just like, hey, get the game out. Like that's not a Nintendo. Like it's Nintendo's involved from the publishing standpoint, but Pokemon Company's ultimately the company, and they're the ones that are like, okay, we need to get this out here because we have all this other stuff lined up. They're ready to go. We need to launch this because we can't have an anime without a game, a new season of Pokemon without, these Pokemon. So
I think that's absolutely right.
Yeah, and ultimately schedule.
That release schedule and the fact that despite all the issues, it's playable. I don't think any three of us have experienced anything game breaking to the point where we can't continue on, or it's so bad that we want to stop playing. We're all kind of addicted to that gameplay loop.
My 10 frames of Sunflora.
I think that they realize that, and it's good enough, and they knew it was going to sell 10 million copies. I think a combination of all of that.
I think they were just trying out these open world stuff and these new things. Like they kind of started with Sword and Shield. They didn't, but it was like really not even a half step. It was like an 8th step. It's like, let's dip our toes a little bit. Okay, people kind of like this raid stuff. People like this open area stuff. Let's go full force. Let's try out this side experiment game, Legends Arceus. Oh, we got another mainline Pokemon game to release. Oh, but the pandemic happened, so let's delay these projects. And I think it was just crunching at that deadline at the end. I want to say I'm excited for the next Pokemon game. I do. It's just, my first impression of this game, day one, I was not happy with the performance at all. I was like, kind of just, this is not acceptable. My impression, like, it's not acceptable. I still believe that, but I am having fun. So I think for the next time around, it's more of a wait and see. I think if it's the remakes, I know what it's gonna be. It's gonna be that other studio that's gonna put this machine learning AI stupid Unity crap for the black and white remakes. Yes, that's what's gonna happen.
People are gonna be so mad if they ruin those remakes. That's such a beloved generation.
Yeah, that's true. It is a beloved generation. So,
really
but after that, when Game Freak comes back full force, I'm gonna be just watching on the sidelines. I'm not buying it day one.
You say that now. You say that now. I think we're gonna come back to this and realize that there's gonna be a really cute starter and a really cool concept, and like, oh my god, it actually looks good this time. That's the cycle. It's the cycle. Remember a few weeks ago, I said that, like, we do this every single time where, like, leading up to it, we're like, oh my god, we're so excited. And then it comes out and we're like, okay. And then, like, a couple weeks later, we're like, okay, it's not that good. And then, like, they announce the new generation and it's like, oh my god, Pokemon.
It's interesting too, because like, this isn't the first generation this is happening, but it's definitely the one that's more notable. Because on the 3DS, when I first got back into Pokemon, was X and Y, and I think that's the first 3DS one. There was stuff going on there that was like causing frame drops too with the Mega Evolutions, like the.
There was a great game-breaking bug in that game when it released in Lumio City, where if you saved inside the city, it crashed your game and corrupted your save data, and they had to put out a patch for that.
No way.
Gosh.
On day one. Yeah. A lot of people lost their save on day one.
That's wild. I didn't even know about that.
That's pretty far in the game too. Yeah.
That's absolutely wild.
But yeah, you're right. You're right that it's not new. And I mean, I agree. I think it should be held to a higher standard. Play the end sequence. Like, they put all of their budget into that part. You're gonna be like, how is this running? How is this working? Like,
is there a lot of post content stuff other than the raids? Like after the Elite 4?
So okay, wait. So after the Elite 4, that's not when the game ends.
Oh, you got to do more stuff. Okay, after everything ends.
After the credits.
Yeah, you roll credits.
There's some stuff you can do. It's nothing.
Okay, so it's not like as previous games, they've been doing a lot of post-content stuff. So I'm wondering,
have they?
I don't know. Sword and Shield, I didn't really play it that much. I thought they did.
They did back in the day a lot more than they do now.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. I remember Sun and Moon, they had quite a bit afterwards too.
Yeah.
So anyways, I'm here for it though. I'll play it till the end. Don't worry. Steam Deck is not going to pull me away too much.
Cool. Yeah, I'm still having fun with it. I will keep playing it quite a bit. They are reminder that this weekend, if you have beat the game, you can do 7-star Charizard Terra raid battles. It's until Sunday, I think. If you haven't beat the game, you can't find them on your own, but you can join a friend who's doing it. They're just really, really powerful. They're really hard to beat, so just make sure that you bring something really strong to it.
Are they Mega Charizards? I want the black Mega Charizard.
No, they're not Mega Charizards, but they're Dragon Terra type Charizards. So they look really cool.
That's pretty cool. That is pretty cool. Yeah, I'd be down for that.
Yep.
Right, I'm not going to sleep for the next 48 hours. Got
it. Go to bed, Joe. Go to bed.
Beat the game, Joe.
I think I also mentioned last week that this was coming, but Splatoon 3's chill season has officially begun. This is season 2 of the game. It adds quite a bit. So it adds 2 new maps, Brine Springs and Flounder Heights. Brine Springs is like brand new. Flounder Heights was in the first game. It adds a new Salmon Run stage, Marooner's Bay. It's not new. It was from Splatoon 2. Brand new weapons, Splattershot Nova, Big Swig Roller, Snipe Raider 5H. There's such cool names. And then 10 new weapon variants. So like existing weapons that get new kits. There's a new catalog with 100 levels of rewards to unlock, new gear, and new returning gear from Splatoon 1 and 2. And so Big Run is happening. Remember, this was announced like way before the game released. Big Run, they data mined it. It's going to take place next week, I guess it is, December 10th through 12th. And that will occur on the Wahoo World map. So this is going to be, I guess, instead of a December turf war battle, the Big Run where these salmonids invade Wahoo World and you work together to defeat them. It's kind of like a twist on Salmon Run.
Okay,
cool.
How big are you into Splatoon these days, Joe?
This is the quickest one I've fallen off on, and not because it was a bad game. There's just been so much that I've wanted to play that like a lot of Switch stuff fell on the back burner this year.
Right.
And I felt so crummy when I was like, yeah, I'm gonna get into Splatoon. This is the one. And woo, I did that first Splatfest and I haven't gone back.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, I need to get in there. Like, I don't care how like sweaty everybody is now, because everyone was sweaty in that the beta Splatfest.
Yeah.
The global test run. And I was just like, you know what? I'm having time of my life. I love these weapons. It's one of the few games I use the gyroscope, the gyro controls on, and like am perfectly fine playing it that way because it just feels natural. And I want to go back. It's just a matter of like, all right, which JRPG am I going to give up for this?
Yeah, I mean, I got it. And I do want to play it some more and play the campaign. It's just like you, I was like, there's just so much Switch games I want to play. Like Live Alive, that's the game I want to play. I know Splatoon 3 is going to be there. It's going to be persistent. I'll be back for the Splatfest. I'll be there for the campaign. I'm sure there'll be some expansion with the Splatoon 3. So I'm looking out for that, and also the table turn top stuff. I want to get into that because it is fun with the few sessions I played, and hopefully they do more. They do multiplayer eventually with that mode.
Yes, so a lot of what is in this update, like you can get new table turf cards and things like that. They haven't said that online is coming yet. They originally said, I think it was before the end of the year. I don't know if that deadline is still going to be met because I feel like this would have been the time to introduce it. So maybe it'll end up being early next year. Yeah, I've been waiting for that too, but I will definitely be jumping in if not before then, but for the Big Run event. I'm curious like how that'll be and if it'll be as fun as regular Salmon Run, if it'll be as fun as the Splatfest.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Yeah, I love that they just keep pumping out content though. Like Splatoon has like that loyal fan base, and they're gonna be fed for the next couple of years.
I mean, Splatoon 2, it's so weird. They had like so much content for like, I don't know, 2-3 years. Then they kind of dropped, doing other things. And then like the last 6 months before Splatoon 3 dropped, they're like, here's Splatfest here, here's whatever here. So they'll keep
They supported that game for way longer than they originally intended to.
Oh,
and like a lot of free updates. Like this chill season, all of this is free. You don't need to pay for any DLC for it. Just update your game. You get all this new content. New is like a mix of like new and just returning from previous games. So just be aware of that. The Game Awards is next week. Will you both be watching it?
Yes. Will you be streaming it, Joe? Is that what you're gonna do?
Cool. I'm always watching along. It's my favorite thing like of the year, just to like sit back and then we all argue about like the games that are on there and like
and then laugh at the ads too.
Yes. Yeah. I might be remembering the wrong. It might even be a WWE thing. Wasn't there a Schick Blade thing or Gillette dude in one of them? I might be thinking wrestling honestly right now. My brain is so warped, but I remember there being some kind of like Razor ad person that was there one year, and I thought it was the weirdest thing.
I feel the last time they did it, it was like 99% the Tencent daughter company just advertising their stuff out and doing free-to-play games. So we'll see if Tencent will advertise all of their free-to-play games again. So,
jeez.
So some notable nominations. Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is the only Switch exclusive game that is up for Game of the Year.
Yeah,
exciting
I voted
for
for that
those
one.
fans.
Made that. It's about time.
Me too. I was very surprised about that one.
I'm glad that it was nominated. Some other notable nominations. It's also up for Best Score. Was there a good soundtrack?
Yes, it is amazing. I bawl and cry every time I listen to that album, that soundtrack. That composer, very on point. He does a very good job of putting that into the game. Yeah.
Bayonetta 3 is up for Best Action Game.
Nice.
There is a whole host of Nintendo games up for Best RPG, including Live Alive, Pokemon Legends Arceus, Triangle Strategy, Xenoblade Chronicles 3. I think it takes up 4 of the 5 nominations for that category.
And that's why I was so busy this year on Switch. All these RPGs going on. Except for Live Alive. Still nailed that one.
Triangle Project Strategy was this year?
Yeah. It came out in March.
Dude, I don't even remember buying that this year. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was a while ago. Yeah. Kirby and the Forgotten Land, Mario Rabbids Sparks of Hope, Nintendo Switch Sports, and Splatoon 3 are up for Best Family Game, aka the Nintendo category, because Splatoon 3 is not a family game. Mario Rabbids is not a family game. No, Kirby and the Forgotten Lands is not a family game. Switch Sports is the only one that qualifies there, in my opinion, and it's not even.
It's basically the best rated E for everyone game.
Yeah,
that's what
this is Nintendo's category.
I don't get this. I don't get how you can have a best family game that doesn't have local multiplayer.
I don't know.
You can't play it with your family.
I don't know. Everyone can watch you while you go through the game. Yeah, pass around the Joy-Con.
You could do that for Xenoblade Chronicles 3. That's not a family game.
That's true. You're right.
Oh, man.
Mario Rabbids Sparks of Hope is up for Best Sim/Strategy.
Good.
Because that's totally the same thing, sim and strategy.
So
Splatoon 3 is up for Best Multiplayer. And for the 11th year in a row, Tears of the Kingdom is up for Most Anticipated.
Hey, at least we have a subtitle now.
We have a subtitle now.
Some anchor to have some emotion instead of Breath of the Wild 2.
I'll never forget. Anytime I think of Zelda now, I always think of that one. This one was a Game Awards thing where Miyamoto and I think it was Keiji Aonuma, they sat in a chair and they had the TV up and they were in a blank white room. You couldn't see actual gameplay, but you watched them.
Yes,
playing the game.
I don't remember that.
Epona just
it was an E3.
That was E3?
That was
E3. Oh
E3.
my gosh. I thought that was Game Awards, dude. Oh my god. Never forget.
I think I do remember. Yeah. Do you think Nintendo will show up with, and by show up I mean something good?
I don't think so.
Nah. At this
you don't think we see new Tears of the Kingdom footage?
No, we have a title. They have us. They have our money, and maybe another couple trailers before the game comes out. But they'll be dead silent with Tears of the Kingdom.
That's getting its own direct, hands down. Like I think that's the next time we see anything of that game. Is its own direct?
We
Metro
see.
Prime?
No. Oh no.
You don't think so? Metro. See, I think.
The Game Awards
is because
we said that last year.
Well, it's for the gaming audience, and Metroid, it's not going to be. I think that would be the best bet to show off the other gamers that Metroid Prime 4 is coming back. Here's some new gameplay. Oh, couldn't you imagine just Metroid Prime 4 coming out, first gameplay showcase at the Game Awards? Like people will flip out if it's like super good and like super realistic and super gritty, like getting into that, more not like, realistic or whatever, but dark, just like a darker thing like Metroid Dread. But oh man, I would be very excited for that actually.
Remember
at the Game Awards.
Grub and Minotti were swearing up and down about Prime coming out this year. What if they showed it? What if they showed it at the Game Awards and we're like, out now digitally on the eShop?
Yo. I'd cry.
You cry.
I'd cry.
You'll be like, "Where's the cold?"
Not Prime 4, not Prime 4, Prime 1.
Oh, I'd still cry. I'll take cool, anything.
Actually.
Yeah. Just one, not a trilogy. Just one.
Just one. In true Nintendo fashion.
That is the most Nintendo thing I've heard.
Oh, they will do that.
They would.
They will. I think they'll switch for Prime 1, and that's it.
I think we get like a stupid little like 30-second Mario Bros. Movie trailer, like in between some of like the other cool like.
I hope that's just an ad. Stuff.
Yeah, no, I think that'll be like a thing that they do, and it'll not last long, and it won't have anything like new than what we just saw in this last one, which we're about to talk about. I don't see any like big games. We might see. Okay, I think we see Sports Story out now because cool. they said. Remember they said it's coming out in December, but they didn't give us a date. I think that's why. Yeah, I think that's like, a good shadow job. Out now. Yeah. I don't see anything huge.
Yeah, I don't see them doing anything first party. Like they definitely have like gone the way since the launch of the Switch of like being more and more back to being more and more silent and very, very picky and selective with some stuff. I think they learned their lesson, especially with Prime 4 and them showing the logo, everyone freaking out, and then nothing happening. Aside from
I remember that direct
developers.
Gosh.
Is the next game they have coming out Fire Emblem Engage?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We know January anything 20th. Else? Any other date after that?
We know after that. Oh, okay. We know so much about Fire Emblem Engage.
No. Yeah. What other Nintendo games do we know that have dates? Is there anything else?
Tears of the Kingdom. And then...
No. Oh, yeah, that does have a date.
It does have a date. I'm trying to think if there is a Kirby game.
Does that have a date?
Yeah, it's like a smaller multiplayer Kirby game, I think.
No. It's the remake of Dreamland.
Remake? Oh, right. They said early, I think.
Oh, yeah, Dreamland Deluxe,
okay,
February.
So they have some early games. February. So they have some January, February stuff mapped out already. Okay.
Maybe.
I was just wondering.
4 and Advance Wars at some point. That's got to come.
Yeah, Pikmin's in summer. I was just mostly wondering, like, what do they have kind of in that first area, like those first month or two before we have another direct? So it sounds like that's...
Kirby in February, Fire Emblem in January, something in March.
They don't need to show anything big, I don't think, at the Game Awards. I hope they do, though.
They'll have a direct in January, and then, we'll be excited for that.
Get excited. We will talk about it next week. We will talk about who won, anything cool that may have been announced. We used to do the show. We used to do Shack on Thursdays, and then it was always like kind of a problem with the Game Awards, but that won't be a problem this year. So it is on Thursday next week.
We'll just watch Joe's stream Thursday nights, and then we'll talk about it Friday night.
Yeah. To end the news segment this week, we saw a new trailer for the Super Mario Bros. Movie. We got to see some new stuff, like we saw Peach and her voice, and they gave Donkey Kong a new design, which they did not. They showed us Donkey Kong, but we didn't get to hear Seth Rogen's like Donkey Kong voice. He had an interview, but we didn't hear him as Donkey Kong. We got to hear a little bit more of Luigi and Mario. We saw Peach's castle, which looks beautiful. We get a little bit more taste of the plot. There were lots of references to Mario games and just the general Mario universe, like Kart on Rainbow Road. We see the Super Mario Bros. 3 Tanuki at one point. It was a pretty packed trailer. What did you guys think?
I thought it was cool. Provide the Seth Rogen Donkey Kong voice acting.
Oh no! Oh no!
I'm Donkey Kong.
I hope it is nothing.
He's smoking a joint from Pineapple Express or something. Oh gosh, Seth. Of course he's Donkey Kong.
My favorite part was that he said that, so he actually does seem like a big Nintendo fan, because in juxtaposition to Chris Pratt, who was like, oh yes, I loved Mario growing up. I loved stomping on Koopas. Seth Rogen was actually like, oh yeah, like I love Miyamoto games. Like here's my dog Zelda. Like it It was very nice. I used to have a dog named Zelda, so I was very happy about that. I don't know. This trailer got me very excited. I think Donkey Kong's new design is very funny, but I like it because it is a little bit reminiscent of his original first design.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people were complaining about like how many references seem packed into it, like just for the sake of there being references, which I think is valid, but like I don't know. I think it's cool. I think it's
cool to see all the different stuff, and they got to show you something in 2 minutes. What are they going to show you? They want to show you as much, small little Easter eggs as they can. Video means 1,000 words. So I'm sure there's many videos and many trailers going through each images. I remember that first day, it was like the first 30 minutes, people pointed out a lot of Donkey Kong side characters in a cart. And seeing Cranky Kong, Dixie Kong.
A lot of stuff in the background. We saw the Kongs. We saw Yoshi's running around on the island. So yeah,
Rebecca,
they did pack a lot.
How'd you like Toad's voice? Did you love Toad? Yeah, I can't wait for.
So good. I'm so.
It was so on point, wasn't it? Like it was.
Yeah.
It got the Fleming, the high ringing sound that's like nails on a chalkboard.
It wasn't that bad. It was fine. It was fine. People are complaining about the voices, like Chris. Yeah, I get it. It's fine. I think that it's not Martinet, but it'll be okay. I think everyone sounds fine.
It's fine.
Yeah.
I think it looks very high quality for sure.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure. And like I think that's the whole point of this movie is like not just a proof of concept for Illumination, but like to prove that like, hey, if we're gonna do a video game movie, let's do it right. Let's throw all these there's a lot of deep cut stuff. So like with like people that have a problem with like Peach and how she's being portrayed in this movie being the freaking completely like excuse my language, complete badass that she is.
She's a badass, yeah.
Like there's early like late 80s, early 90s comics of her doing that exact thing. So like they're pulling deep cut references from all over the place with this movie. And it's so cool to actually see how much detail. There's stuff from Galaxy in there. There's stuff from 3D World in there with like the clear pipes. Those little details. This company, whoever, like everyone that is working on this movie clearly loves Mario and like
they care. They
care. And Miyamoto's handprint is all over this. You can absolutely tell what's going on there. It's so good to see.
I feel excited for it. I would like when they announced a Mario movie, I'm like, because I'm not a big Mario fan. I'm like fine with I like Mario, but like I'm not like this huge Mario fan.
That's fair.
But I think that this is going to be a good movie, and it's cool to see that the recent video game movies have been better than like what we grew up with. Like Detective Pikachu was good, Sonic was good. Like, what are we in this world where video game movies are finally good? I don't know.
The ones that grew up with them now, like being able to work for companies to do this stuff. I mean, this is it. This is not the Super Mario Brothers movie from the 90s, which I adore and love, but I know
those are special in their own way.
Yes. The elevator Goomba dancing scene, that's so classic.
So the movie comes out next year on April 7th. We need like a PSVG field trip where we all go see it together. Clearly.
Sounds good. Let's go to the central point. Let's go to Omaha, Nebraska. That's probably the very central point there is. It's probably super cheap there in movie tickets. And probably pretty empty too, out in the middle of nowhere.
We'll do it. We'll organize it.
We can get some corn husks and Omaha steak on the side too.
Sounds good. So that's the news from this week. Let's jump into the Shaq Direct. I think I did this last week too. Shaq Directions question from you. No.
Yes.
Shaq questions directly from you. Starting with John wants to know, what gaming franchise would you want someone to base a theme park on, excluding Mario, Pokemon, or Donkey Kong? Are the
Dang.
Can I go?
Yes.
Go for it.
The Mother series. That would be the
one.
wackiest trip
Oh my god.
Just
only if they have a moonside portion of the park where like
Yes.
all of a sudden it just like it's weird.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Like, please, dude. The Mr. Saturn area, just in general, would be the weirdest. Like, it's a small world after all area, and everyone's just like.
So that would be like the most niche thing in the United States, but Mother is actually pretty popular still in Japan. Like they actually put out merchandise and it sells in Japan, so I could actually see that happening. Not really, but like it would be cool.
So
yeah, that would be awesome. I would really personally like that.
That's a good one. I was like thinking of Pokemon instantly, but he said excluding Mario, Pokemon, and Donkey Kong. So I'm just trying to think of the other franchises I would like. I mean, Fire Emblem's cool, but like I don't think it would be that entertaining as a theme park. I don't know. Like seeing
maybe
all the
like
waifus.
Medieval Times?
Yeah, maybe like a Medieval Times. That would be dope. Actually, what will like an actual like role playing like theme park? You like go through a quest with like Fire Emblem characters or something, and it's like think of it as like a mystery room. But like instead of puzzles, it's like you're going with the story with your other companions, and then you actually, use a weapon. Yeah, let's go. Go through the actual
I hear the lawsuits happening. Someone stabbed me with a foam sword. Kid pokes other kid's eye out at theme park.
It was a crit hit, okay? You had to go for it.
Add all like the weird what's the phone one? The mobile one? Like with all the weird egg stuff. Yeah, like someone hit me with like an egg staff or something from the Easter event.
That would be good.
So my first thought was Kirby because I feel like Kirby, there's so many. What?
I think it would be so small. It would
you can do so much.
No, well, I mean, with Kirby, with all the copy abilities, I feel like you could get creative with it. Then I thought about Nintendo Land and how that is a theme park, but then I feel like there would definitely have to be like some Mario stuff in it, so I feel like that cancels that out. And then I thought Pikmin because you could kind of make like everything just be giant, but then I realized that wouldn't work. And then I thought Animal Crossing. Because it could be kind of like a Sesame Place type theme park with like all the little mascot characters.
Kids can learn about debt control.
And then I thought, okay, maybe none of these would be good.
No. I want a Splatoon themed paintball arena.
Oh,
that would be so dope,
dude.
That would be cool.
With those maps with paintball. That would be really cool.
I mean, you can do something with Metroid. Make it very like similar to Star Wars. Make it a whole space theme park.
And what if they included Star Fox? Yes. Oh my god. Wait. Yes. That'd be so good. Then like they could definitely have rides that are based on like the mothership and like all of the different Star Fox. Oh yeah, they should do that.
Like I don't know if Universal even has this anymore. That's how long ago it's been since I've gone. But the DeLorean ride, but like you go in an R-Wing and you're just like going through the adventure and
Yeah, that's what we're doing. We're making our space themed park. Are there any other games that could fit in with this theme? We have Star Fox. We have Metroid.
I was thinking Smash Brothers in general. Like you can do a lot of different sub parks. And then,
okay, look, I know that John said no Mario, but we're putting a Mario Galaxy part in specifically Mario Galaxy in our space Nintendo Space Park.
Oh, that would be so dope. So
you can have some Kirby Star Ally stuff in there.
Yeah,
that's very spacey.
Yep.
Space theme, Nintendo Land. I'm down.
I like it. Adam has a question for Joe after work. Your favorite video game and video game console?
Oh, I may have spoiled it already. I mean, I'm a Metroid nut. I love it's like between that and Mother, like Metroid definitely took the cake for me.
So is Dread your favorite Metroid game?
No, Fusion actually. It's Fusion and Super for me. Today I decided to say Fusion.
Me and Zelda games.
Yeah,
whatever in the mood.
And by default, it's a Game Boy Advance. I mean, that
Game Boy Advance
console is everything for me. I've grown up on handhelds my entire life. Like, that's been a majority of my Nintendo games until I was able to like buy consoles on my own for the most part. Like I had consoles growing up and everything like that, and I've played a lot of like home console games, but like until I was able to actually like earn an income to be able to play a lot more of these games and go back, that's been it for me. Like the Advance had everything. It has my favorite Zelda game, Link's Awakening. That was I was still able to play my Pokemon games on there. Golden Sun, Mega Man Battle Network.
Ooh, talk to Garret about Golden Sun.
Ooh, wait, hold on.
I talked to you about Golden Sun too, Rebecca. Oh my goodness, I'm ahead of you. Okay, so
we had this thing.
We promised each other over the summer that we would go through the Golden Sun games, but we just, kind of just. Oh, dang, you have it right there. That's really nice.
I was literally testing it. I just got mine in today.
Oh my God, I got mine last week.
Yes, let's go.
I'm about a third of the way through, and I'm still need to go through it. I'm wondering if I want to transfer my save to my Steam Deck and just play it there.
It's definitely interesting because like that game was, those games before it got split was supposed to be a full game, but that's what big it was. I still need to play Lost Age. Never got to play it, but I have replayed.
And then there's a DS one too.
Yeah. And that one pretty much continues like the story years later with like the kids of the series.
Cool. I definitely need to do that. Then all the like, there's so many Advance War games too. On the GBA and DS.
I mean, you're getting two of them there. There's even Super Famicom ones too that we never got, and Famicom in general. Like that series has gone on since like NES era, so we just never got it until GBA, which is really awesome.
GBA,
kind of like
in the West. Yeah. Cool. And then Fire Emblem is on. That's kind of got its start in the US as well with GBA, right? Fire Emblem Sacred Stone or whatever. Yeah.
That was my first one. There was GBA. I never got to beat it, but my cartridge is still on the final chapter. It's just been that difficult because I was a kid and like killed off like half my team. So
go beat it.
One day, that's the plan, to go back and finally like 12-year-old me just like, listen,
Child Joe will be very happy. He needs closure. Adam also wanted to know, out of the three of us, who is the best at Mario Kart? I used to be really good at Mario Kart, and like the last couple times I've played, I've really embarrassed myself. So I don't feel confident saying me anymore.
This shell looks at me every day. It attacks me. Like that's how bad I am at Mario Kart. Like anytime
I feel like you play more Mario Kart than us, though.
Dog, I play, but nah. Everyone's against me. I'm always ending up in 12th after being in like first for a majority.
I think you're humble, and it probably is you.
Nah, I'm telling you, chat attacks me.
Well, that's what they're supposed to do. They wouldn't be doing They wouldn't be doing their job
that's
as chat.
Oh man, listen, I'm the best 11th place racer you'll ever meet. Okay. Double ones.
We also have from an anonymous question asker for Joe, what generation of games do Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire belong in? Garret, don't say a word.
Oh, that's third generation though, no?
Yes, it is third generation. You heard it right there, Rebecca.
To be clear, the remakes on the 3DS.
Yeah. No, I mean, I played Alpha Sapphire. That's how I played third generation, because I had dipped off a Pokemon from from a regular Gold and Silver, and then jumped back in X and Y, and that's like.
So the games that have Pokemon, the games that have Pokemon from Generation 6 in them from X and Y are Generation 3 games. To be clear.
Wait, hold on. Run that back?
No. She's trying to turn this around. Okay, you are correct, Joe. These are Gen 3 games.
Rebecca's because like the
Latios, the ones that have Mega Evolution in them, they are Gen 3.
I get what you're saying.
They're enhancements of Gen 3, yes.
Yeah, they're remakes of Gen 3 games, but they are Gen 6 games.
Explain it with like the hoopla dimensional rifts and how the Pokemon are all coming in from that way, right? That was like the little.
They're trying to correct us. They're trying to be biblically correct with their Gen 6, whatever. I don't like this fake information.
Generation 3, right? Like with a little extra.
Stop the count. just stops.
That was a really cool feature. Hold up. Rewind that.
What?
That Latios Latias flying around and
cool.
going to that was
very cool. That was cool.
So awesome. I love that. I wish they kept that as like a mainstay feature to like just fly. Dude, imagine
that would have been cool. That would have been really cool. Yeah.
That would have been great.
That would have been the best.
Mm-hmm.
It would have made the game probably like twice as better. Like if I'm able to navigate and fly around the map like that, it'd be maybe next game. Maybe they'll have some technical performance jump.
Maybe it'll be the best game ever.
Oh my God.
Asimov wants to know, what is your favorite game you ever got for Christmas? We've gotten this question before, but it's nice to talk about it sometimes, especially with Joe here.
Yeah.
I can't think of Christmas presents. Oh man, my birthday's so close to Christmas that like my memories of them blend. Not so much that like I did get like the whole like, hey, it's your birthday and Christmas, so here you go.
Two separate things.
Yeah. But they all blend in my mind together. This is really weird. I loved Super Dodgeball Advance. I don't know. That's the first thing that comes to mind. So I'm gonna say that. I'm a weird kid. I loved all the weird like third-party stuff. That I'm gonna go with that. I'm sticking with that. Screw it.
Most kids didn't get that kind of stuff growing up. I feel like with parents buying games for their kids, those were often overlooked. So you were probably pretty unique in getting those things for Christmas.
I was like, yeah, that's the only thing I could think of. Yeah. Comes to mind.
Garret, take a look in the images in Melon there and see if that picture of me at Christmas is still in there, because I think I saw it in there kind of recently. It was easily the best Christmas gift, where I guess I was 10 or something when the GameCube came out, and I got a GameCube and a copy of Wind Waker and a copy of the Zelda Collector's Edition, and that was like as like little top Rebecca obsessed with Zelda.
Yeah, I have it. Hold on.
Okay, why don't you show the audience?
Oh my gosh.
There it is.
Wait, you've posted this on Twitter before, right?
I've definitely posted it on Twitter.
I've seen this, yeah.
That's me. That was a pretty good Christmas gift.
That is awesome.
I don't think there's not much that tops that one.
Yeah. Mine's not Nintendo related, but I think I've mentioned this before. In 2005, when the Xbox 360 was coming out, people were out the door trying to get that thing. And I remember my dad wanting to get it for me for Christmas. I actually asked for an original Xbox that year. And he remember like a Best Buy employee told him, hey, we're going to have a shipment in the night before. Get here early and you'll have a voucher. And so my dad woke me up 3 a.m. The next day, we drove over to Best Buy. We waited there for 5 hours or something like that until like they gave us a voucher. And there was a Starbucks and a Krispy Kreme like right next to us. So of course we grabbed the voucher, we went over to get some coffee and donuts, came back, and I grabbed my Xbox 360. That time it was Quake something. I just forgot exactly which one. It was like one of the Quakes that was launching with the 360. I think it was Quake 3 or 4 or whatever.
Nice.
And then Call of Duty 2. That was one I got for Christmas that I will never forget. I was a huge Call of Duty fan probably until like Black Ops 2. I really enjoyed Call of Duty 2 so much, and playing a local multiplayer couch co-op with my friends. That was probably the best Christmas memory with games. Yeah,
it's awesome. Dope. I love it. And then finally, Canadian Crawler is, dear God, aging all of us. The fact that I held up a copy of Wind Waker in that picture, he says we're approaching the 20th anniversary of Wind Waker coming out.
Oh,
holy crap. I had to think about that and make sure he didn't mean 10th anniversary. So yeah, that's embarrassing now that you just had that picture up. What is your favorite memory of the game? He wants to know.
My favorite memory of the game is not playing the GameCube version, but the Wii U version.
Yeah, that's completely valid. You played the better version.
I didn't have to go through the like 30 pieces of Triforce shards, but I still had to endure the pain of it to an extent.
So you never played the original? Your first experience was the HD?
Was the HD version, yeah. Because like back when GameCube era stuff, we had a GameCube. It was my stepbrother. So like the only things that I had cared about were the Resident Evil games dropping on the GameCube and like the big Capcom 5 stuff that ended up like, you know, they were okay. But I was so big into DDR. I was at the arcade like every day. So like I was playing DDR competitively. I'm a big dork. Like that was my bread and butter.
Garrett's favorite memory is not playing it.
Oh, actually, I do have a memory. I think I've mentioned this before on this podcast, but I will say it again. I never played Wind Waker that much, but my grandma, my dad's mom, actually, she is a Nintendo fan. She loves Nintendo games. That's how it got me into SNES games and everything. She did get a Wii U. Now, and it was her Wii U, and she played some stuff, but she wasn't really into it too much because she's more of a 2D person. She can't really handle the 3D games. But she did get the Wind Waker edition, the black with the gold crests and everything like that on the tablet. And I did play Wind Waker for like 30 minutes. I think, you know, it was like 2012 or 13 or whatever. So I was going to college. And I was like actually driving off to go to college, and I was just dropping by her place to just, you know, talk with her. But I did play for 30 minutes, like, oh, that's a cool game. And I just drove away. I was like, never thought about it again. So I definitely need to play it. I could play it on this little thing though. This little
do it. Do crimes. Do it. Play the HD version though. Okay, I'm gonna say my favorite memory, but Garret, you have to take your headphones out, and I'll wave at you when I'm ready for you to put them back in because it's a massive spoiler. Everybody's played Waker except for you, so it's okay.
I can't really do that, but hold on. Let me see if I could just mute.
Turn off your sound.
Yeah, there.
You cannot hear this.
Oh no.
Okay, can you hear me? Okay. The part of the game where you go down beneath the water and it's Hyrule Castle and you realize that it was all flooded and everything's in black and white and you're like, what the heck? Where am I? Everything's frozen. And you pull the Master Sword and everything, like the color washes in, everything comes back to life. You're able to see like Hyrule outside, like it's all blocked off by that invisible wall that you like, that barrier that you can't break through yet because you're not strong enough, and like that is like an unreal moment of the game where like, I mean, I know there hadn't been like too many Zeldas by that point, but that was like, holy crap, like this is like beyond you know, beyond like something that I thought could happen in a Zelda game.
Real quick before he unmutes, the have you seen the little speedrun video of them doing the little hack to actually break through that shield to get over?
Yes, and I remember for years and years and years they couldn't do that. That was like the holy grail of like things that we can't do in this game that we need to figure out how to do for a speed run. And then I remember like when they figured out how to do it, and like that's such a cool speedrun trick. Yeah,
so good.
Yeah, but just that whole segment, it was like, I feel like very underrated. Like people don't talk about that enough.
No, that's definitely like the moment. Like, oh, we're just getting started.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, you can come back now.
All right. I'm coming in. Hold on. All right. Say something.
Story spoilers. That's why we needed you to not listen.
Go away.
But everyone's played it. So
I think I know the major spoiler, but I won't mention it.
Yeah, but it wasn't that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know what you're thinking of. All right, that is going to do it for chat questions and our news from this week. Joe, thank you so much for joining us, especially after your huge long stream. Can you remind everyone where to follow you, where to find you, what you're up to, what you want them to know?
Yeah, I'll probably start playing a little bit of Pokemon and dumping back into Super Paper Mario on the Wii. And you can find me on twitch.tv/JoAfterWork and pretty much anything JoAfterWork, spelled J-O, no E. And that I'm like that. I'm everywhere like that, so I'm not that hard to find.
Nice.
We'll put links to you in the show notes so that people can easily find you and your streams. And like I said, very exciting stuff going on over there. You'll definitely want to check it out. Anything from you, Garret, that you want people to know? Yeah, go ahead.
So I'm part of the, the Carpool Gaming crew. They've been doing a lot of reviews. So go check out Carpool Gaming on YouTube. They've been doing, I don't know how they do it. They just, every day is just some video games, some discussion, some video. I'll be talking with Sean and I think other people on Mario Plus Rabbids next week. We'll be talking about Pokemon as well. We'll have Game of the Year in 2 weeks that we'll record. So just be on the lookout. And of course, every Monday nights, I talk with Ryan about RPGs and we just nerd out. So that's just great. Just head over to Carpool Gaming on YouTube.
Excellent. We'll put a link in for that as well. All right. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining us and chatting Nintendo stuff with us. It's always a fun time. And we will see you next week for some Game of the Year chat awards and wrapping up the end of the year stuff. Have a good night, Koopalings.
Bye-bye.